Hello, Anne. Hello, Margaret. Um,
Hello.
as
Hello.
as you can hello, as you can see, I've done a bit more to the pheasant because I've given him a head. I'm afraid I cheated. I used watercolor paint and I used manganese blue to get the pheasant head. I'm going to show the people in the room now. So see, so it's the right. Okay, it's a cheat. I didn't have the pencils, but no matter. Allowed to choose. It's watercolor, whatever it is. Now, what I'm going to do now is to use the markings on the body of the bird to create the form. I'm again going to show the class. You see, there are sort of series of spots and things that run in a certain way across the body. The principle always is that you create the form and then you add the decoration, whatever it is. I think I've referred to Hazel's zebras before now. She paints a white horse, wow, on white paper, sort of grey shadows, not blue, purpley shadows and things like that. Once she's got the horse, she then dresses the stripes on. Every zebra has different stripes. So, you can make them up. And it's the shape of the decoration which creates the three dimensions. Because as he stands, he's got a bit of shape because of the dark and the light. I mean, that's manifestly under his thumb. But he will get more shape if I can correctly put on these, not as straight lines, but as curved lines, because they are in fact curved as they go around his body. So we'll start up by the neck. You can't actually see from where you are what the marks are, but there are a series of little feathers up there. And if I use a colored pencil, which is near in tone to the actual color underneath, in this case, I've got a burnt umber, and I'm going to create a sharp point on it to facilitate matters. That's not exactly sharp, but it's better than it could be. That side doesn't work. Right. So I've got a reasonable point on there. I don't think I'll be using the water. We'll see. Right. Now, these feathers here can only be seen because of the shadows they are throwing. Right. So what you have to put in is the shadows. And as they go across his neck, they start sort of a pale yellow. Try that one. That's a yellow. No, I think I used the orange. So that will give me my yellow. And then they go through burnt sienna, and then they're sort of purpley color, and then they go back to almost browny, ruby red color as they go across his neck. So take that into consideration as well. Because you're using pencil, you can do that. If you were actually painting it in watercolor, it would be difficult. Well, I think it would be difficult. So I start with the yellow one and look at the shape of the shadow. And it's not going to make a lot of difference. It's not going to show dramatically, but it's going to show a little bit. So I'm just putting in the shadow where I can see it. How do they lie? They seem to lie like bricks, two feathers and then one coming between them, as you'd expect. So now I've gone on to the raw burnt umber. I'm just making, barely see it, I'm just making little marks to suggest these shapes and nice. I've got a curve up above, so the curve is going to appear naturally, which is great. How I'll get on further down, I don't know. So that's got to come in between, and then that comes there. That goes in between, and that comes there. If you want to talk to yourself, do. does help. How far down do they come? They come down quite a way. And then by the time you come here, the shadows on the yellow ones are a bit darker. So you don't have to put them all in. You just got to put some in to sort of suggest this is how it goes. You might want to put in all of them up at the top, near the head, because people will actually look up there. And if you can get the impression of those little shadows, so you just see half the side of the shadow, and they're tiny little feathers up here. They get longer as they go down. Okay. So when I get here, I'm going to change to the purple because they're purple shadows, so they are a little bit darker. That's okay. You're actually just watching me make tiny marks, which is madly boring for you, but it's this is one of the things about saying. I was saying to you when we were talking, seeing somebody paint in real time gives a different impression on how the thing is done, because you can see how much time is invested in doing the various things. And I don't want it to end in a line, so some of them I'm taking further down, so that the bottom line of these little feathery shapes isn't going straight across or even curved across. It's in a sort of chevron sort of pattern. There's a darker one here. Oops, come on, you. So when I get to the neck, two things here. This is in shadow to some extent because the light is catching the back of his body. So the neck here is in shadow, so it will be darker. I just want to suggest those. It's a little bit broken up here. As we get further down, we start to get the darker marks on the feathers, which are, to say the least, interesting. Where are they? About there. So about here. Now, what if I see better? It's the usual trouble. I haven't got the right glasses. You never have the right glasses. See if this helps. Yes, this helps a lot, believe it or not. Right. So round about here, there is a little row of quite dark marks coming across here, but they're only slight. And I want that, and they do curve. And when we get here, they make quite a big pattern of dark marks. And these are purple over here. So just above that, we've got dark marks. And they're coming round his body. And the ones underneath are a little bit thicker. And they're not so close together. So they're more widely spaced. And change in color as you're going along. That's the one I wanted. And then the marks get, again, quite strong, but over here, they aren't. So we've got quite strong marks here. I don't normally work to this degree of detail, so I'm finding it quite daunting. I'm hoping that it will work for you. It's easy for me to say glibly to you, let the marks follow the shape of the body. And actually doing it is fun, I have to tell you. And again, I don't want the marks to be too regimented. So where I find them more strongly marked, it helps to put them in, you know where you're starting from then. Then we come down here. Where's that? Just there is a strong mark. It's just a matter of seeing what you see and trying to create what you see. This bird is a highly complex duck. I haven't noticed it. He's got a lot of work going for him. As I'm working on it, my glasses slip further and further down my nose, and I see less and less. They're actually darker than this, aren't they? That's a green. Right. So by the time we get over here, some of these marks are quite strong. They disappear into that. Again, I don't want to put them all in because all that will do is make it a very mannered sort of picture. Looking at it now, they're actually quite interestingly formed by different tones. So you get a dark part, and then you get a very light part, and then you get a sort of mid-tone part. So yes, observation. I'll be here for hours. Except I'm not going to be here for hours because I'll run out of patience very quickly. Yeah. Comes a darker. The other thing about them is they're different shapes, so you've got to keep track of actually where you are. And some of them are small, and some of them are quite big. I'll get down here. Big mark there. These needs to be darker down here as well. So what's that color? Let up. I think I'm going to have to do those. Is that one? And is that one? There are people who like doing this. This is the way they like to work. It's all right for a sort of rainy afternoon as far as I'm concerned. It's there. And it comes across. Oops. I don't know if it's doing anything. Just to show you sort of, you see, so you're making the marks follow the contours of the bodies. I should imagine it's actually easier with a zebra. But so what I would need to do, I'll show these people here first. What I would need to do would be to continue this, so this changes into this. So the little cuddly feathers at the top with the mild shadows turn into these quite strongly marked feathers, which create the dark marks on the body, and then carry them on down and cover the whole of the bird with those kind of marks. And watching me go scribble is not going to be, you know, enlightening for you. You've got the basic idea of what you're trying to do, and that's the way to you just got to be patient. And the weather is hot enough for you to just sit and twitch, you know, as you're going along. And then if you want, you can always create the branch, or in this case, it's the top of my sunroom that he's perched on. But it looks like a wall, so you can give him context if you like, depending on how far you want to take a picture. But I think you've seen enough without me struggling with my sliding specs to carry on. So that's the idea. Look at the color of the mark, look at the shape of the mark, and look at how the marks relate to each other and how the marks create the shape of the bird. Probably not at this stage. I think I've done enough of that, and it's about time to show off the medium. I think if you just turn it into a watercolor, you're hiding your expertise with these, and these create marks in a certain way. And I think to obliterate that is to do an injustice to this particular medium. Yes, frankly, I like to see the marks of whatever medium I'm using. So if I'm using soft pastels, I like to see how the pastel has gone on. You can blend them, and people do, and they make beautiful pictures, but I don't go that way. I just like to see and I like to see the brush strokes in oils and watercolors. And I like to see the paint pooling and moving when you're painting watercolors. It's playing to the strength of the medium and showing people your delight in what this particular medium can do. End of rant. I'm going to stop there because it's so simple, but it's so time consuming. The more time you have to do something like that, the better. Okay.